You've probably already picked a side, Toyota person or Honda person. Maybe you've been loyal to one brand for 20 years and you think this debate is settled. But here's what I need you to hear before we go any further. The version of Toyota and Honda that existed 15 years ago is not the version that exists today. And the differences that matter most to a driver over 50 are not the ones that show up in the typical car review. We're not talking about 0 to 60 times. We're not talking about which one looks sportier. We're talking about which one keeps you comfortable on a 2-hour drive, which one is easier on your wallet when something breaks, which one your body can actually get in and out of without bracing yourself, and which one is still running reliably when you're in your 70s. That is an entirely different conversation, and that is the one we're having today. Let's get into it. Number 1. Why this comparison hits different after 50. Here's the reality that most car reviewers completely ignore. When you are over 50, your priorities behind the wheel shift in ways that are completely legitimate and completely underserved by mainstream automotive media. The 25-year-old reviewing cars on YouTube cares about acceleration, handling, and tech features. You care about whether your back hurts after an hour on the highway, whether you can actually read the dashboard without squinting, whether the dealer treats you like an adult when something goes wrong, whether the car starts reliably on a cold January morning without drama. Toyota and Honda both understand this audience better than almost any other manufacturer on the planet. Both brands have spent decades building reputations for reliability, value retention, and low ownership costs. And both brands have a loyal following of drivers over 50 who swear their choice is the obvious one. But here's where it gets interesting. When you actually put these two brands side by side and examine them through the specific lens of what a driver over 50 needs, not what a general consumer needs, the differences become very clear, and they might not fall where you expect them to. Most car owners don't realize this, but Toyota and Honda have made very different philosophical decisions about who their core customer is, and those decisions show up in every car they build. Number 2. Reliability. The scorecard most people read wrong. Let's start here because for a driver over 50, reliability is not a preference. It is the number one requirement. You've worked hard for your money. You've earned the right to a car that simply works year after year without becoming a project. Both Toyota and Honda have stellar reliability reputations. That much is absolutely true. But there are important distinctions inside that broad reputation that most people miss entirely. Toyota has consistently ranked at or near the top of long-term reliability studies from organizations like Consumer Reports and J.D. Power. Their vehicles, particularly the Camry, the Corolla, the RAV4, and the Highlander, show up year after year as among the lowest-cost vehicles to own over a 10-year period. Toyota's approach to engineering is deeply conservative. They are famously slow to adopt new technology until that technology has been proven in the field. When Toyota says a system is ready for production, it is because they have tested it far beyond what regulations require. Honda's reliability reputation is also excellent, but here's a nuance that matters. Honda tends to be a slightly more aggressive adopter of new technology and new engineering approaches. That ambition has occasionally resulted in growing pains. Their turbocharged engines, particularly the 1.5-liter unit that appeared in the Civic and CR-V, had documented oil dilution issues in colder climates that took Honda several years to fully address. Their earlier CVT transmissions received mixed long-term reviews compared to Toyota's own continuously variable transmissions. But here's where it gets worse if you ignore this detail. When you are on a fixed income in retirement, or when you're budgeting carefully in your 50s, the difference between a repair that costs $800 and a repair that costs $3,000 is not abstract. It is a real disruption to real plans. Toyota's conservative engineering philosophy means fewer surprises. Honda's slightly more progressive approach means occasionally more capability, but occasionally more early ownership issues that get resolved in later model years. For the 50-plus driver who wants to buy a vehicle and stop thinking about it for the next 10 years, Toyota holds a slight but meaningful edge in overall reliability consistency. Number 3. Comfort and ride quality. Where the bodies feel the difference. Now we get into the territory that matters most for your daily life. And this is where the comparison gets genuinely interesting. Let's start with ride quality. Toyota and Honda have made distinctly different choices about how their vehicles handle road imperfections. Toyota, particularly in their mainstream lineup, tunes their suspension for a softer, more absorbent ride. Get into a Toyota Camry on a rough interstate, and the car feels settled, calm, and smooth. The suspension is working quietly in the background, processing bumps and road texture without transmitting them aggressively to the cabin. For a back that has accumulated 50 or more years of life, that softness is not a luxury. It is relief. Honda tunes their vehicles slightly firmer. The Accord, the CR-V, the Pilot, they all have a suspension that prioritizes a more planted, connected feeling. On smooth roads, this is genuinely enjoyable. But on rough pavement, and depending on where you live, rough pavement may be most of what you drive on. That firmness means more vibration, more road impact, and more cumulative stress on your spine over the course of a long drive. This is one of the most consistent differences between the two brands, and it is one that most drivers over 50 will notice within the first 15 minutes of a side-by-side test drive. But here's where it gets more nuanced. Honda's Accord seats, particularly in the EXL and Touring trims, have outstanding bolstering and support. The seat itself is excellent. So you have a situation where the Honda seat may hold you better, but the Toyota suspension may absorb the road better. The ideal is both working together, and Toyota gets closer to that ideal for most 50-plus drivers because the suspension does more of the heavy lifting. The Lexus brand, Toyota's luxury division, represents the full expression of this philosophy. If budget allows and comfort is the absolute priority, a Lexus ES or Lexus RX provides one of the most genuinely therapeutic driving experiences available in a non-exotic vehicle. But we'll come back to that. Number 4. Ease of entry and exit. The daily test nobody talks about. Here is a topic that gets almost zero attention in mainstream car media, and it is one that becomes critically important the moment you pass 50. Getting in and out of your car, twice a day, minimum. Sometimes 4 or 6 or 8 times a day. Every time you do it, your hips, knees, lower back, and core are involved. If your vehicle makes that motion harder than it needs to be, if it's too low, too high, too narrow in the door opening, or awkward in the step-in angle, you are accumulating wear on your body that adds up over months and years. Toyota and Honda approach this differently across their lineups, and knowing the difference could change which vehicle you choose. In the sedan category, the Toyota Camry sits at a slightly higher seating position than the Honda Accord. That fraction of an inch in seat height makes a real difference in the effort required to get in and out. The Camry also has a wider door opening angle on the driver's side, which gives your body more room to maneuver during entry and exit. But here's where Honda has a genuine advantage in one specific category. The Honda CR-V crossover has one of the best entry heights of any vehicle in its segment. The seat sits at almost exactly the right height to allow a natural sit-down motion rather than a drop-in or a climb-up. Toyota's RAV4 is also excellent in this regard, but several longtime Honda owners specifically cite the CR-V's door-opening width and step-in height as reasons they stay loyal to the brand. The clear loser for entry and exit across both brands? Their lower, sport-oriented trims. The Honda Accord Sport and the Toyota Camry TRD both sit lower and firmer than their comfort-focused siblings. For a driver over 50 dealing with hip or back issues, those trims are the wrong choice, regardless of which brand you prefer. The pattern for 50-plus buyers is clear. In both brands, go for the higher trim with the more comfort-oriented suspension. In both brands, a crossover or SUV beats a low sedan for daily entry and exit ease. And in both brands, specifically check the door opening width before you buy. If you're finding this useful, go ahead and subscribe right now. We put out content like this every single week specifically for drivers over 50, and it will save you from making a very expensive mistake at the dealership. Number 5. Technology and dashboard usability. Who respects your eyes? Here's something that nobody in the automotive press talks about honestly. Modern infotainment systems are frequently designed by engineers in their 30s for users in their 20s, and the result is dashboard technology that can be genuinely hostile to drivers over 50. Small touch targets, haptic feedback that requires you to look at the screen instead of the road, menus buried 4 levels deep for functions you use every day, type sizes that require reading glasses to navigate safely while driving. These are not minor inconveniences. They are real safety issues. So how do Toyota and Honda compare on this? Toyota made a significant and somewhat controversial decision in their recent model years by switching to larger touchscreen infotainment systems and moving physical controls for climate to the touchscreen on some models. The response from older drivers has been mixed. The screen itself is bright and readable in most lighting conditions, but the loss of physical knobs and buttons for temperature control means you now need to look at and tap a screen to adjust your heat or air conditioning. For a driver over 50 who has spent 30 years reaching for a physical knob without looking, that transition is a legitimate frustration and a legitimate safety concern. Honda has taken a somewhat more traditional approach in their latest generation vehicles. After receiving significant criticism for removing physical buttons in an earlier generation, Honda actually brought physical volume and tuning controls back to the Accord and CR-V. That is a real win for drivers who don't want to tap a glass screen every time they want to turn down the radio. But here's where it gets worse for both brands, and honestly, for the entire industry. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integration, which both Toyota and Honda now offer, actually helps solve a lot of the menu complexity problem. If you use your phone's navigation, your phone's music, and your phone's contact list, those systems are usually more intuitive than the factory software. And both Toyota and Honda support wireless CarPlay and Android Auto on their higher trims, which eliminates the cable clutter. The bottom line on technology? Honda's recent commitment to bringing back physical controls gives them a slight edge in usability for the 50-plus driver. But Toyota's larger screen size and brighter display give them better visibility in direct sunlight. It is genuinely a draw, and the best advice is to spend time with both infotainment systems at the dealership. Not a 5-minute demo, but a genuine 15 to 20-minute hands-on experience before you decide. Number 6. Cost of ownership, the number that changes everything. This is where the conversation gets very real for a lot of drivers over 50, because ownership cost is not just the sticker price. It is the sticker price plus insurance, plus fuel, plus maintenance, plus repairs over the entire time you own the vehicle. And when you add all of that up, the differences between Toyota and Honda become very specific and very meaningful. Let's start with purchase price. In most comparable segments, Toyota and Honda are within a few hundred to a couple $1,000s of each other at the base level. A Toyota Camry LE and a Honda Accord LX are in very similar territory. A Toyota RAV4 and a Honda CR-V are neck and neck in most trim comparisons. But here's where the divergence starts. Toyota's resale value is consistently among the highest in the industry. A 5-year-old Toyota Camry holds its value better than almost any other midsize sedan on the market. That matters enormously if you plan to trade in or sell the vehicle in 5 to 7 years. A car with better resale value is effectively a car with a lower total cost of ownership, because you get more of your money back when it's time to move on. Honda's resale value is also excellent, better than most brands, but Toyota holds a consistent and measurable edge in this category. Now let's talk about maintenance costs. Both Toyota and Honda have affordable, widely available parts. Both brands have dealer networks with service departments all across the country. But here's what most car owners don't realize. Toyota's Toyota Care maintenance plan covers 2 years or 25,000 miles of no-cost scheduled maintenance on new vehicle purchases. Oil changes, tire rotations, multi-point inspections included. Honda has a similar program called Honda Care for scheduled maintenance, though terms can vary by dealer and region. For a driver on a retirement budget or a carefully managed income, that 2-year no-cost maintenance window is genuinely valuable. Get specifics from your local dealer on what is and is not included before you sign anything. Fuel economy is essentially a tie in most comparable segments. Both brands offer hybrid versions of their most popular models: the Toyota Camry Hybrid, the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, the Honda Accord Hybrid, and the Honda CR-V Hybrid. All deliver outstanding miles per gallon that measurably reduce your annual fuel cost. If you do significant highway driving, the hybrid versions of either brand are worth serious consideration. But here is the peak cost of ownership fact that I want you to remember. Consumer Reports' long-term reliability data consistently shows Toyota vehicles requiring fewer unscheduled repairs over a 10-year period than Honda vehicles. The difference is not dramatic. Both brands are genuinely reliable. But over 10 years of ownership, fewer surprise repair visits means less money, less time in waiting rooms, and less disruption to your life. Number 7. Safety features. Who keeps you safer after 50? Let's talk about active safety technology, because this is an area where both Toyota and Honda have made enormous strides in recent years, and it matters more for drivers over 50 than for any other age group. Reaction times change with age. That is not an insult. It is biology. The good news is that modern active safety systems can functionally compensate for the fraction of a second difference in reaction time that naturally comes with aging. Automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assistance, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring. These are not features for bad drivers. They are features that make good drivers safer, and they are worth every dollar they cost. Toyota's suite is called Toyota Safety Sense, and it is included as standard equipment on virtually every Toyota vehicle sold in the United States today. Standard, not an option package, not a premium upgrade. Every Camry, every RAV4, every Highlander comes with automatic emergency braking, lane departure warning, lane tracing assist, automatic high beams, and radar-based adaptive cruise control as baseline equipment. For the 50-plus buyer on a budget, this is a significant advantage. You don't have to pay for a higher trim level to get the safety features that matter. Honda's suite is called Honda Sensing, and it is similarly standard across their lineup. Automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, and road departure mitigation are all included on base trim levels. Honda Sensing and Toyota Safety Sense are remarkably similar in their feature set and their real-world effectiveness. But here is where Toyota pulls ahead in one specific area that matters enormously for the 50-plus driver. Toyota's blind spot monitoring system, available on mid and higher trims, uses radar that is notably reliable in highway driving conditions where sensor systems can sometimes struggle. And Toyota's rear cross-traffic alert, which warns you when a vehicle is approaching from the side as you back out of a parking spot, is among the most responsive in the industry. For a driver who finds parking lot maneuvering and highway lane changes more stressful than they used to be, that radar reliability is not a small thing. It is daily peace of mind. The bottom line. Here is the honest answer to the question we started with. Toyota versus Honda for the driver over 50. If your top priorities are long-term reliability with the fewest surprises, the softest and most back-friendly ride quality, the highest resale value, and safety features as standard equipment on every trim level, Toyota is your brand. The Camry, the RAV4, and the Highlander are benchmarks in their segments for exactly the reasons that matter most after 50. If your top priorities are a slightly more engaging driving experience, dashboard usability with physical controls that have come back in the latest generation, and a crossover, specifically the CR-V, that nails the entry and exit height for drivers with hip or knee concerns, Honda is a completely legitimate choice. The Accord and the CR-V are outstanding vehicles with long track records of owner satisfaction. The truth is, and this is the thing that should actually relieve some pressure, you cannot make a catastrophically wrong choice between these two brands. Both will serve a 50-plus driver well. Both will run reliably for well over 150,000 miles with basic maintenance. Both have dealer networks you can access anywhere in the country. The deciding factor ultimately should not be brand loyalty from 20 years ago. It should be a real test drive, 20 minutes minimum, on roads you actually drive, in the trim level you are actually considering, evaluated on the specific criteria that matter to your body, your daily life, and your budget right now. Your next car could easily be the one you drive for the next 10 to 15 years. Take the test drive seriously. Ask the dealer to show you every seat adjustment. Spend time getting in and out of the car 3 or 4 times. Drive it on a rough road, not just a smooth dealer lot. And make the decision based on what your body tells you, not what brand is on the badge. Now, I want to hear from you. Are you a Toyota driver or a Honda driver? And what has your experience actually been like over the years? Drop your answer in the comments. Your real-world experience helps every other driver in this community make a smarter decision. And if you are not subscribed yet, do it right now. Every week, we break down the car decisions that matter most for drivers over 50. The honest comparisons, the ownership costs, the comfort details, the safety features, all the information you actually need and almost never get from a traditional car review. We will see you in the next one.